What's up, everybody? We're looking at the FOMC live with Dex. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
So I don't know if you want to lower that a little. It's pretty loud. So what are you hearing so far?
Okay, so far, Bloomberg just announced that the Fed left the rates alone, but that's not the big issue. The big issue is what's going to be said in the press conference and their outlook going forward. So it's still undetermined no matter what they say, because there's a lot of uncertainties right now in the markets and the global economies. There's a lot of debates been going on this last week and a half. It's just a lot of drama, and I don't even know where to begin. There's so much drama. I'm talking market moving drama, and not just market moving drama, but just some very terrible things and some very good things as well. It's just all over the place as far as news is concerned that deals with economics. But the biggest thing today is FOMC. They left the interest rates alone. Markets right now are still flat. They're going to wait and see what this press conference yields. And then tomorrow we have the ECB. So this is just a big week for rates and rate decisions. And then going ahead, looking into this weekend, we have a big issue coming up, and that is the trade war tariffs. They're supposed to kick in this weekend. So that's an issue. And then on the back of that, we have December the 21st, which is the debt ceiling issue. So those are some major things that are on the horizon. Not to mention, the House just went ahead and passed their articles of impeachment. Yeah. So we know the president's impeached in the House. Okay, fine. But he will not be impeached in the Senate. This is just Clinton 2.0.
Yeah.
For those that remember, Clinton was impeached in the House, but not in the Senate. Therefore, the impeachment did not stand.
Right.
Same thing is going to happen here. So this is a very interesting time. I remember several years ago when I broke the story back on the Wide Awake news show that there was some serious infighting going on at the time. And it's a fight for power. And that power struggle still continues to this day. And they're just taking their gloves off. They don't care who knows or who speculates what. They want power. And they will do anything and stop at nothing to get it. And that's where we stand right now. The Democrats know they cannot defeat Trump in a general election. They tried that before and got mollywopped. And they know that if they don't get him out of office before the 2020 election, they're going to get mollywopped even worse. History shows us that no seating president has been unseated during an incredible economic growth situation. Clinton got a double term because of it, and now so will Trump. Right. It's just the way it is. You're not going to see him being defeated in 2020 with the Dow flirting with 30,000. This is not going to happen. Yeah. Now, if the economy was in the toilet, people are out of work, and the Dow was sitting at 800, then yeah, they'd get him up out of there. A Democrat would definitely win the White House in 2020. Barring anything short of that, he is a guaranteed shoo-in for 2020. And that's just how it is, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
So, with that being said, the next issue on the table that we need to deal with is what's really going on behind the scenes. So I'm here to tell you exactly what's going on behind the scenes. Some very scary things are going on behind the scenes. And some of the movers and shakers on the Wall Street front have been talking about it. And that's our word on the street. What's the word on the street? The word on the street is that not this year, but they're going to wait until like the first, second week of January. Word on the street is everybody's going to be running for the exit come the first, second week in January. They're pulling their money out of the market. They're taking profits. Now, you may be asking yourself, why is that? All I can tell you is, A, I don't have any insider information. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and pretend like I know something that I don't. I can only tell you what people's actions are going to be based on what they have said verbally. And they have said verbally they're looking to go to cash come the first of the year. Now, when you start seeing big players and heavy hitters doing that, there's a reason. Somebody does know something. Now, as you know, we are in a fight for our Constitution. The U.S. Constitution is under attack, and the powers that be are seeking to take away our free speech. They want to silence anyone who is straying too far away from their narrative. If you are going against the grain, you will be silenced. YouTube has passed a lot of new rules, some that don't make any sense whatsoever. But basically, they can delete your channel whenever they feel like it. And you have no recourse, and there's nothing you can do about it. Under the new rules, it goes even harder than that. If they feel that you're not making them enough money, you're out of here. If your
it's such
show,
an interesting policy. It's weird.
If your show isn't kid-friendly enough, you're out of here. If your show is too kid-friendly, you're out of here.
A little too friendly.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even laughing. That is straight up. That is right out of. Not only that, but also recently, there's been talk about what kind of algorithms they use to make certain decisions. So here's the thing, though. That's scary, though. The reason why I bring this up, it's not limited to YouTube. So basically, if you lose your YouTube channel, say goodbye to all your Gmail accounts.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's weird.
Basically, they're making it so that you can be taken off of social media as you know it. The same way they did with Alex Jones, the same way they've done with many others since him. They can just take you out. And the reason being is because, as you know, Facebook owns Instagram. So if Facebook deletes you, they're also going to scrub you off of Instagram. And because a lot of these social media tools are connected, you lose everything. It's really crazy what's going on now. If you don't think that's crazy enough, if that doesn't scare you enough, if that's not Ray Bradbury enough for you, all right, if that's not 1984 enough for you, try this one on for size. My neck of the woods, the state of Virginia. You will not believe what is on the ballot for voting.
What's that?
Take a wild guess.
What I saw something on Facebook. Is it a new gun law?
Oh, it's worse than that.
What is it?
Remember the Trojan horse story, ladies and gentlemen?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to our judicial system, when it comes to our government, it's always a Trojan horse. It's always a bill stuffed with pork. It's a pig in a blanket. Every bill is a pig in a blanket. So here we go. On the surface, it's a gun bill. They're saying, we want to crack down on these things. So they're trying to take away your amendment rights through the back door because they know that they can't push it through the front door, right? Because then there'll be all types of civil unrest. But doing it the back door, no one's the wiser. So here it is. Basically, in a nutshell, they want to make it illegal for you to teach gun safety or any type of.
I heard that one. Yeah.
To use a firearm, period. Firearms training will be made illegal.
That's so weird.
Now, Virginia and Texas are supposed to be kissing cousins as far as, the South, gun and horse country. Everybody knows that. Nah, they want to take that away. So they want to pass a law and say that you can't get firearms training. That's number one. But what's stuff behind it? Same bill, ladies and gentlemen. They want to make it illegal, a criminal offense. If you want to teach your son how to use a firearm, felony.
Same.
All firearms training, felony. And that doesn't go far enough. They want to criminalize self-defense. That means all of your mom and pop, karate lessons places, taekwondo teachers, jiu-jitsu, name your self-defense, doesn't matter. They want to criminalize that and make it illegal for you to teach anyone self-defense.
Yeah, HW was just writing while you were talking. Martial arts, jiu-jitsu, that's insane. Dude,
now,
how does a citizen not see that and go berserk?
Let it sink in, first of all. Let it sink in. What all what I just said to you, I want that to marinate.
So dangerous. Unbelievable.
Always ask yourself who benefits and follow the money, of course. Follow the money and who benefits. Okay, in this case, follow the money. If this were to pass, every mom and pop that is involved in self-defense training will go out of business immediately.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's a big hit to the local economy and to jobs. All right, so that's bye-bye to that industry. An entire industry wiped out with one stroke of a pen. But then here's the interesting part, though. Guess who the biggest trainer of firearm safety is? Local law enforcement. They have public training things that they do. Yeah, straight up. So You have to ask, why are they doing this? Now, I could see, excuse me, if in the same bill that they were going to include a law to say that only law enforcement could teach self-defense and firearm safety training. Now, if they did that, then you could say, it's still messed up, but okay, you're not taking it away from us. You're just shifting who can teach it. Okay, all right, I don't like it, but okay, I can kind of understand. All right, fine, whatever. But no, you want to criminalize it. Knowing that when you do that now, the women's rights movement, you would think, would be really up in arms over this, because that's one of the big tenets that they have as far as, self-defense, because women, unfortunately, jogging at nighttime, someone's going to jump out of the bushes and try to rape you, right? That's always been the mindset, that women need to be able to defend themselves, date rape, all that good stuff. A woman has to defend herself, period. She needs to know, all right? So you're taking that away from them now.
Yeah, no, that's insane. So is this being taken seriously as something that might pass? Because this just sounds like nonsense.
Dude, there have been all types of radio ads going, all types of stuff. Yes, it is very serious.
What's their angle on it? What are they calling it? The Save Your Family from Nazis Act? What are they calling it?
No, they're just saying that it's preposterous. But you have to ask yourself a question, which no one seems to be able to answer: is why is this happening? And why is it even being proposed?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if you guys remember me telling you this or not, but I'll say it again. Where I am located, unfortunately, is one of the cities that is on the Agenda 21 list. Back when Agenda 21 was being put together, there were cities across the country that could opt in to be listed as an Agenda 21 city, which means that they'll be able to run all of their training exercises and all the different things that they do. They'll be able to do that, and these cities would be safety zones for the shadow government to come in and do whatever they do. Such as those night raid things that I know you guys saw that they did down in Florida several years ago, scaring the residents to death. They did it without warning. They even went into schools without warning and did these terror drills unannounced and stuff like that, scaring kids and families to death. So they were able to do it because the city unbeknownst to even the school district, had said, yes, we will participate and you can do whatever you want whenever you want to do it. So now you have Agenda 30 on the table. Agenda 21 has been defunct. Now we're Agenda 30. So you have to ask yourself a question: why would you do this, and what is the logical conclusion of this? Okay, so if you take away the right for a person to even learn how to defend themselves, that makes them weak and vulnerable. So you have to ask yourself a question: what do they know that we don't know that's coming up in the near future that they're going to need the citizens not to be able to fight back and defend themselves? What is it that they're really planning? And remember, this has all been sanctioned and set aside by certain nefarious agencies that are in cooperation with your government, because that's all Agenda 30 is, and Trilateral Commission, all these other secret organizations, they're all there under the blessing of your federal government. So you have to ask yourself a question: what's coming that these type of ridiculous laws are being passed? And it should be scaring everyone to death.
That's crazy.
Because it's real. But now let me tie this into the market, because there's so much news, I told you, economic news, that is important that people need to be aware of so that they know how they can best position themselves for it. Okay, so I've given you the legislative aspect of things that's happening. Now let me give you some of the capitalistic aspects. Okay, so it's been a war of words back and forth during this whole Trump impeachment hearings and all this. They know that they're not going to be successful. So you have to ask yourself, why are they putting the American people through this? If they know they're not going to be successful, they know they're not going to be successful. What do they hope to gain from this? And why would they say, we know we can't beat him in a general election? Why would that phrase even come out of their mouth? You have to ask yourself, how and why is that? And why is it when their plans fail, when the Democrats' plans fail to forcefully take over the government, because that's really what you're doing. When you're trying to fix an election, when you're trying to force a person into office that you want, even though the American people just responded to you through the vote and said, no, we don't want that person representing us, but yet you want to force your way in there. What is going on behind the scenes to cause this dog and pony show? I'm here to tell you. All right. Put on your big boy and big girl pants, because you're going to need them. Okay, so in the last, I want to say, month or two, something like that, there have been big major hedge funds closing their doors. Now, we haven't really seen a run for the exit on hedge funds since the financial crisis back in 07, 08, and 09. And now you're seeing it happen again. But it's happening at the total opposite end of the spectrum, meaning that it's understandable for banks and hedge funds and things of that nature to go out of business during the last financial crisis, which was quite devastating, but it was understandable. When Bear Stearns fell, we knew that no one was off limits. No one was invincible. But why is this happening now on the back of the highest stock market that we've ever seen? Close to Dow 30,000, people closing their doors. Not only are hedge funds around the globe closing their doors and running away, but it's also been reported that the trading outfit arms of these banks and these brokerage houses and these money managers, they're closing down their trading floors. Guess what the answer is why they were doing it? Because they say their trading floors were sustaining just ridiculous losses. One
Oh, wow.
case in general was a forex trading outfit. They closed their trading desk because their traders were losing an average of $1 million each and trying to cover it up. So they had to shut that down. Now, $1 million of losses in the grand scheme of things, when they handle billions and billions of dollars, is really not a whole lot. But some of these forex trading desks, they don't handle that kind of size. I know it sounds weird, but they don't. So losing $1 million is a lot of money. So they had to close them down. But then on the equity side, same thing. They're losing money. They're eliminating their trading desks. Now, for those of you who don't know, these were like the last of the Mohicans, okay? This right here, from the financial crisis, most trading desks been gone. Most big banks then eliminated their trading floors, okay? So in favor of, digital assets and doing wealth management and other things of that nature, not really going for, using in-house money and trading, things like that. So to see this switch like this coming at this time is amazing. And then if that's not enough, Morgan Stanley announces they're laying off 10,000 people. 10,000 people.
Wow.
To give you an idea of how massive a number that is, during the market's heyday, back in the late 90s, they had at least 30,000 brokers at one point. At one point, I think it even reached 50,000. And then they were gone overnight. Once the NASDAQ bubble bursted, that was it. Back in 2000, that was it. When that bubble bursted, everybody lost their job. It was a big shakeup on Wall Street when that happened. And then when the financial crisis hit, the last remnants of those people, you saw them going out and with boxes in their hands and stuff. And that was the big flight from your floor traders on the exchange floor moving to off floor and trading behind computer desks. And so those that were lucky enough to still keep their jobs, they hung on up until now. So the 10,000, saying they're laying off 10,000 employees, that includes the remnant of the trading desks, which is being closed and shut down. Then it's reaching further into spilling over to other avenues of their core business. You're talking about all the other departments. So that also should be giving people red flags. The banks are experiencing all types of problems right now. I can't even go into all the problems. It would take hours to go and give you all the information with that. And on that one, I do know people who are in that sector, very high up in that sector, and the word is not good. From the big 5 banks all the way down to your credit unions. There's a lot of issues right now that's happening. In addition to that, we've been talking about the employment situation. Now, we're all aware that the Fed has changed how they do their reporting. They changed how they do their GDP reporting. They've changed how they do their jobless claims reporting. As you know, they take away food and energy when it comes to doing the GDP and all that. When it comes to the jobless claims, they don't count people that stop looking for work or can't find gainful employment. So there's a lot of little accounting trickeration that goes on with computing these numbers. Not to mention, they go back after the fact and do all these revisions, the following weeks or the following month. So they may tell you, hey, we created 300,000 jobs in June, yay, and the market will soar, right? And then when July comes, they'll say, you know what, we had to revise that. We didn't create 300,000. We only created 300. I'm sorry, my bad. You see what I'm saying? So they're doing all these gymnastics, with how they report and everything. So then it goes deeper than that. I don't know if people heard this or not, probably not, because a lot of the stuff is localized, but in Virginia, one of the largest grocery chains, one of the largest and most trusted grocery chains are going out of business and closing their doors.
Oh yeah, which one?
And this is Shoppers Food Warehouse.
Hmm.
I never seen that place empty. I've never seen it even where you can even find a parking space, just about. They're as busy as a Walmart. And they're going away. Just closing their doors. Gone.
Wow.
Not to mention, I've noticed other little things within my little area, the Maryland, D.C., Virginia area. Check this out. In all of my years, I have never, ever seen a few things I've never seen. One of the things I've never seen is a 7-Eleven go out of business or close. I've also never seen a McDonald's go out of business or close.
Mm-hmm.
I've also never seen a Starbucks go out of business or close. Now I have. I've seen all three actually close their doors. I've seen a 7-Eleven, not too far away from me, go out of business. A McDonald's and Starbucks just removed itself out of one of the biggest malls in my area. And now they got some unnamed coffee place there in its place. That should tell you something. When the biggest Fortune 500 companies start closing locations, that should tell you something. It's not right with the local economies. That's a big deal, people. When you see a McDonald's close, a 7-Eleven close, even a Starbucks, name me a time you've ever seen any of those places empty if it's not the wee hours, except for the wee hours in the morning. Those places are open, with the exception of Starbucks, 24/7, 365. They never close. And yet, they're closed, moved away. So there's a lot of things happening, not only in the local economies, the global economies, just all over the place. Things are happening. Now today, Aramco, that big Saudi oil company, they've gone public.
Yeah.
And they've started trading. And they think it's gonna be a multi-trillion-dollar capitalization company, biggest company in the world, whatever. And so everybody and their mother is buying shares, and it's up big time today. But while that is a green shoot that you can look at and say, oh, things going well, look at other long-time companies going out of business. GameStop has already been falling in price. They've already been in trouble. But today, the stock just got decimated. It looked like it was going out of business. That's how bad the stock got decimated today. And that's because the pessimistic loss that was expected, well, their losses exceeded that pessimistic loss. So let that sink in for a minute. If you say, okay, worst case scenario, this company is going to lose $1 billion this quarter. And that's your worst case scenario. But you say, but it's going to be more like maybe 500 million they're going to lose. But then when the report comes out, they lost 5 billion. What do you think that's going to do? Exactly. So,
hey,
this is
you keep
crazy.
talking. I gotta go open a door for somebody. I'll be right back.
Yep. All right. So it's crazy when you look at things like that. When you jump outside the box and you take a panoramic view of what's going on around you. And like I said, there's been so much news that has been coming out in these last couple of weeks that it is very difficult to digest it all. And that's why you see the equity markets kind of in a holding pattern, because they don't know what to do. Okay, so now let's talk about the good. The good that has happened in 2019. The good is that, the markets overall, as far as the equity markets, U.S. equity markets, have been in a bull market. They've rallied, and they've done so under, pretty good strength.
Back.
All right, no worries. Pretty good locked-in momentum. But now, nothing has changed technically on the chart still locked into a bull market, right? So then why isn't the market going higher? Are you saying we hit a short-term top? Are we running out of steam? Are we running out of momentum? And the answer to that question is also no. As a matter of fact, the market is ready to rock. And I don't mean just a Santa Claus rally. I mean rallying right into the new year. Here's why we've stopped. We've paused in the U.S. equity markets now because of all the news I gave you when we first came on, we first started talking here. That's why the markets are paused, because it's uncertain of the outcomes that are going to happen now. There's already been some top analysts coming out saying they're scared to death of 2020. They're afraid of economic collapse. They're afraid of war breaking out. They're afraid of the Dow dropping 10,000 points. All types of fear is starting to come in, enter in. Now, it's not manifesting in price yet, but it's being talked about. And as you know, people just don't talk. Eventually, they start doing something about what they've talked about. And that's where we are right now in the markets. Case in point, Bitcoin. Now, I warned several times about Bitcoin. When it was getting popular, when it was on its rise to that initial thrust of 20,000, as it was going up, I cautioned over and over and over again. All the videos are still up on YouTube. I said, be careful. Take some profits along the way. Don't be greedy. This is still a market, people, and it will correct eventually. And when it does, it's going to chop your head off if you don't take some profits.
Yeah.
Right? I was laughed at. I was told I didn't know what I was talking about. I need to stick to stocks because I don't understand blockchain. I don't understand the technology. I don't understand that it's not a market. It's not like Wall Street. It's not like a stock. It's not like forex. It's not like anything else. Blah, 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 blah. And all the while, I'm still warning, you don't understand. This is a market. You don't understand. Corporate interest has now gotten in here. You don't understand. There's some nefarious players in here now, and your market's being manipulated. You don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand what I'm saying. Just kept saying, shut up. He's an idiot. Don't have him on your show anymore. Then,
mean. Very mean.
Fast forward to today, you got Bitcoin hitting 7,000 or even 6,000. And now, where are all those people? What are they saying? I don't hear anything. I hear crickets. It's so quiet, you can hear a lung collapse. Want to know why? Because not only has the cricket died and everyone else's lungs collapsed, but so has their portfolio, because they kept buying when it was up there at 20,000. And now here we are flirting with going to 4,000.
Right.
And they didn't listen. This is what happens when you don't listen to wisdom. I tried to tell you that Bitcoin was a market. I tried to tell you that it was no different than the stock market. I tried to tell you that the mechanics to make it a tradable instrument is the same foundations that they use for equities and futures and forex. No one wanted to listen. Right. I even told you that corporate was in there. No one wanted to listen. Then what happened? All this news started breaking about corporations being in there and big wealth funds and everybody else. And now people want to listen, but guess what? It's too late. You lost all your money. And for those that didn't lose any money, you lost it on paper. And that's still an opportunity cost, because you could have cashed out at 20,000. Instead, here you are setting with wherever the price is at the moment. So when we warn, it's not because we just want to hear ourselves talk. It's because we see something taking place and we want to warn. We want to let people have an opportunity to save themselves.
This is as good a time as any to let people know we are trading Bitcoin this week for our free price trigger trade of the week. With a free membership, you get our updates every night. We show you how the price triggers are used to trade Bitcoin. And we've got an awesome way that we're trading Bitcoin. That is using the QMEX contracts, which is a great way to do it. So something to check out. And then if you do have that free membership, you get access to something that nobody else gets access to, and that is an amazing sale that we have going on. So go to pulsewavetrading.com and get that free membership, and you still got a couple days left on the free price trigger trade of the week. So check that out, which we should take a look at Bitcoin pretty soon. Has there been any news since we started, Dex? Anything you wanted to update or talk about with
No,
the FOMC?
The Fed is now testifying. He's talking. I turned the volume down, so I can't hear what they're saying. I'm just watching the things come across the screen on the Bloomberg, and right now he's just talking.
Are there any scream? Does anybody look like they're screaming? Is there smoke? Is there fire?
No, he's being very careful in choosing his words right now.
Does he have armed guards around him?
Nah, look, all that stuff though, seriously, all jokes aside, after this is over, that's when you'll start seeing the markets do something.
Right.
Because then the algos will kick in and people start dissecting what they think he means, but then ignore what they say and watch what the markets do. That's the most important thing. If the markets rally after he shuts up, then you have your answer.
Right.
If the markets sell off, you also have an answer. And it's not a good one. Now, in that last chart that we did, that Bitcoin chart, and I was giving the time for the vortex and all that. I was showing people
got it on the screen
what we must do and when we must do it. And, we're right there. This is it. This is it. This week is it. All right. This is it.
You're talking about this right here.
Yeah. Yep.
So what do you think is going to happen?
Market's got to break out to the upside. It's got to go. If it does not, it's going to fall into the vortex, and we turn officially bearish.
Yikes!
Because then we'll be bearish on price and indicators and trend lines. Everything will be below the Kumo cloud. That's not a good sign. Not a good sign. All right. So all I know is more downside prices is expected in the near term.
What's your gut?
Bottom yet.
What's your gut where you think it's going? You think more? Down?
Remember the pointer on the daily chart we talked about, the bearish pointers?
This guy?
Yeah, it's nasty.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Of course, we can profit and gain Satoshis either way, but be great.
Yeah, let's talk about how you make money when the market's price is falling. All right. This is the difference between investing and getting long the paper. For those of you who don't understand what getting long the paper means, that is a term that I created to train, precious metal stackers, gold bugs, silver bugs, how they can make money when the precious metal prices are falling, and how they don't have to go out and sell their physicals. They can ride that paper market and, gain money that way, gain exposure that way by holding on to their physicals. So if gold's going to sell off, all you have to do is get long the gold paper markets and benefit from that. There's a way to buy gold paper, and you make money every time. For every penny that gold falls, you make money. Same thing for silver. There's a way to buy the silver paper market and make money as the price of silver is falling. And we teach you exactly how to do that with limited exposure. And that way you can hold your physicals, but also make money as the prices are declining, and then use that money to stack more at the lower prices. And we show you how to do that. So that's what that term comes from. So same thing with the Bitcoin. Anything that there's an asset that you can hold in your hand, that is a way to get into the paper market. So with Bitcoin, all right, so you can come in here, you own some Bitcoins. You don't want to sell your Satoshis. You want to be able to buy. As the lower the price goes, you like to buy some more Satoshis, right? But you don't want to lose Satoshis in the process. So all you got to do is learn how to get in here and trade. And when the market is falling, you can make money off of that, and then use that money to buy more Satoshis.
Yeah, so, there's a couple different strategies, different ways to do that. Some people are looking to preserve the dollar value of their crypto portfolio. You can absolutely do that using stable coins, using the price triggers. if just keeping your Satoshis intact and adding to them is your goal, then we love using the contract trading. It's a great way to just sort of stay in your Bitcoin and use it with the price triggers. So
exactly. And so
yeah.
there's so many ways to do that now, thanks to the new technology that has come out. But what is that platform called again?
We use KuCoin. People use BitMEX. There's Kraken, depending on where you live. I'm a little limited because of New York, but
The one we did the last video on, was that KuCoin?
KuCoin, and then
that platform was vicious, man. That's like my favorite right now.
It's great, and yeah, it's been working really well. Haven't had any issues with liquidity or anything like that. It's been really good.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about too. Remind me. I need to talk to you when we're done, and I need to talk to Matt too.
Sure.
If possible. Okay, so the next thing I want to inform everyone about is how we have been watching things develop in these markets that are very questionable. Now, we haven't really talked too much about the precious metals, but we do need to talk about what's happening in the precious metals market, because believe it or not, precious metals and crypto are cousins. They're cousins in the sense that they're alternative to fiat. All right. And it's money. Gold is money. Gold and silver is money and nothing else. But now, because Bitcoin is here, gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies is money and nothing else. Okay. They've been beaten down a lot. Now, I know not long ago, the news came out with JP Morgan and other actors, bad actors, coming in here and manipulating the price of the gold market, silver markets, all the precious metals, and all that good stuff. The SEC has been all over that. But yet and still, when you would have thought that the price of gold and silver would rally off of that news because they no longer are able to put their boot on the neck of the market, instead you've seen the markets fall even more. So this is interesting. Give me just a second. I need to drink of water.
Drink that water. What was it? What was that creepy whispering while you were drinking your water?
I think she took it. No, she didn't. Okay, I have no idea. You can look in there. I have no idea. Okay, so back to where we were. So if you look at the gold market and the silver market, you can see here that we have been in a you can pull up the gold first. Futures? Yeah, because they're both the same. They're both in an established bear market right now with selling pressure. Selling intensity is still there. Trend momentum is still bearish all the way around. Now, coming into today, we did have a rally alert for gold futures. And I can see the market's trying to pop a little bit here. So that rally alert seems to be playing out pretty well. What is our high of the day on that gold?
Hold on. My screen's doing something annoying.
Mine does the same thing. Don't feel bad.
Oh, there we go. The high was 1478. Gold futures.
1478.60. Okay. Yep. Yeah. You beat me to it, but I finally got mine up. Okay. So 1478.60 on the front month contract. All right. So yeah. So that means that the rally alert actually did play out and trigger today. Oh, cool. So that's a good thing. On silver, let's see where did silver go? 1693. All right, so 16. Yep, silver also broke out today as well, triggered, but it's not necessarily pulse waving yet. All right, so that's an interesting one. Hasn't broke resistance just yet. All right, so they're trying to do something. Maybe we'll see a short-term bottom. I doubt it, because really these markets have been beat down just as much as Bitcoin right now. Right. And it's funny because all three markets are in a well-defined bear market. All three markets have bearish trend momentum readings, identical bearish trend momentum readings. The only one that had a bona fide rally alert today was gold. Bitcoin and silver did not have rally alerts. So I find that rather odd, don't you? That out of all the markets, these three have been moving in the same direction for about the same length of time.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that's what we call interesting. Because, behind the scenes, nefarious things are happening. Right. They're still trying to wreck these three markets. Why would they try to wreck these three markets? Because this is the last point of escape. This is your last point of freedom for escaping the fiat system. If you wanted to be able to preserve wealth, you need gold and silver to do that. And now with crypto entering the stage, those will be your three resources for preserving wealth for when and if the dollar starts to plummet. So with that being said, that is the fear, folks, of the word on the street. The word on the street is that recession is coming in 2020.
Thanks.
Not just for the United States, but also for Europe. Now, I know that sounds scary, and they like to fear monger. They like to scare people to death. But now let me tell you why I think that's good news. Okay. If we do go into a straight up full-blown recession, if it happens here and it happens overseas in Europe, if that happens, all you will see is basically a seesaw effect. So you will see the equity markets go down, but then you should see the price of gold, silver, and crypto, especially Bitcoin, go through the roof. So all the stackers will finally be compensated at that point. Because now you've been stacking all this time, you haven't seen anything happen. Now your gold is moving, your silver's moving, and your Bitcoin's moving. Your cryptos are moving. So if we do see any kind of economic hardship come, I've even heard the word depression thrown around for 2020. Your gold, silver, and cryptos should do extremely well in that type of environment because the demand for it will just skyrocket. So I just wanted to put that bug in your ear. All the more reason for you to take advantage of what the PulseWave trading price triggers can do for you. Because in that environment, trust me, you're going to want to be in a position to turn what little bit of money you may have into an ATM machine. Only way to do that is to enter into these markets and stack your paper.
All right, cool. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up? We've been on for a while.
I think I'm all talked out.
You're all talked out, man. You gave everything you got, Dex.
I tried.
You left it all in the field.
I know, right?
You might literally collapse after this. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Please remember, go to pulsewavetrading.com, get that free account. We do a free price trigger trade every week. We have a special chat room, a Slack chat room, just for those who are part of our free membership. It's really cool. And this week we're doing Bitcoin, but we always do something cool, usually to do with cryptos. I promise one day I'll do a forex pair, but anyway, it's really cool. And anybody who has that account, we're offering a special that's not on our normal website. Special Dex's 2020 special, I think is what it's officially called in the back end. So check that out.
It's going to want to, people. Please.
It really is special.
PulseWaveTrading.com. Come register on the site. It's free to register on the site.
Yep.
That's how you can be kept up to breast of what's going on. Just in case, God forbid, they take away our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You'll be able to keep up with us.
Indeed. All right, cool. All right, thanks everybody for watching. Dex, want to leave us with any sage wisdom? Do you have like a saying or something?
Of course. Bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take as much profit that you can out of these markets, and don't be a fool and give it all back because you didn't use stops. Peace.